Most people are not weak because they lack ability. They are weak because they keep broadcasting need for approval, need for reassurance, need to be liked, need to be understood, need to belong, and the moment other people sense that need, the entire power dynamic shifts. You can watch it happen in real time. A man walks into a room smiling too quickly. He laughs before the joke lands. He nods at opinions he doesn't actually believe. He explains too much, fills every pause, softens every statement, and leaves every interaction having asked the room one silent question. Please tell me I'm acceptable. No one says it out loud, but everyone feels it, and people do not respect what begs to be accepted. That is the cruelty of human nature. Not because people are always evil, because they are always scanning, always measuring, always sorting, safe, unsafe, leader, follower, threat, tool. If your energy says I need your permission, people instinctively place you beneath them. Not necessarily with hatred, sometimes with politeness, sometimes with humor, sometimes with indifference, but always with lowered respect. And once people place you in that category, it becomes very difficult to escape it. You become the agreeable one, the harmless one, the backup option, the reliable servant, the man people use but do not fear losing. That is the real issue. You are not being rejected because you are worthless. You are being downgraded because you are too available, too readable, too eager to make other people comfortable. But there is another kind of presence. A presence that does not chase attention, yet pulls it in. A presence that does not ask for space, yet takes it. A presence so calm, so self-contained, so unbothered by the tribe's opinion that it unsettles everyone around it. This is not loud confidence. This is not motivational confidence. This is not fake alpha theater. This is sovereign confidence. The kind that makes people straighten their posture when you enter. The kind that makes weak manipulators hesitate. The kind that turns casual disrespect into caution. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this long ago. He knew that rule does not begin when people love you. Love is unstable. Love changes with weather, convenience, appetite, and fear. But awe has weight. Awe creates distance. Awe creates restraint. And restraint is often the first form of power. So today we are not doing self-help. We are doing removal. We are identifying the habits that leak your authority every single day and cutting them out. Because most people do not lack confidence. They lack containment. They bleed status through their face, their voice, their timing, their availability, and their inability to tolerate being misunderstood. Stop the leaks, and pressure builds. Pressure builds, and presence changes. Presence changes, and the game changes. So let's begin. The first principle is this: kill the reflex to be liked. From childhood, you were taught a dangerous formula. Be pleasant, be polite, be agreeable, and the world will reward you. But that formula only works in fairy tales and kindergarten classrooms. In adult life, chronic agreeableness becomes a signal. It says you are conflict avoidant. It says you can be steered. It says your boundaries can be negotiated downward. Machiavelli wrote that a man who tries to be good in all things will be ruined among those who are not. If your entire social operating system is built around keeping everyone comfortable, you will be managed by the most selfish person in every room. So understand the difference between niceness and civility. Niceness is insecurity in good manners. It is the hope that if you are soft enough, people will spare you. Civility is discipline. It is calm, deliberate conduct chosen from strength. The dangerous man is civil, not nice. He is polite because he has standards, not because he is seeking emotional payment. He can smile, he can be warm, he can be generous, but none of it is bait for approval. None of it is a plea. None of it is an attempt to prepay for mercy. That difference is enormous. A needy smile says, "Please like me." A controlled smile says, "I chose to give you warmth." One is submission, the other is power with restraint. This means you need to start observing your face. How often do you smile automatically when you are uncomfortable? How often do you laugh to dissolve tension you didn't create? How often do you soften your eyes, your tone, your words, because you are terrified someone might think you are arrogant, serious, or hard to read? That behavior is expensive. Every unnecessary smile is a small surrender. Every false laugh is a tiny meal. Every over-softened opinion is a reduction of self. Try this for a week. Stop reassuring people with your face. Keep it neutral unless something genuinely earns warmth. Let silence sit on your expression. Let your eyes remain steady. You will notice something immediately. People will begin checking your state. They'll ask if you're okay. They'll wonder if something's wrong. Nothing is wrong. They are simply unaccustomed to not being comforted by your submission. That discomfort is useful. It means the frame moved. The second principle is this: master the pause. Most people are terrified of silence because silence removes the script. It forces people to feel the interaction instead of hiding inside it. In silence, anxiety gets louder. In silence, insecurity becomes visible. That is why insecure people rush. They answer too fast, talk too fast, interrupt, overshare, explain, joke, fill. They are not communicating. They are managing panic. A composed person does the opposite. He uses silence as pressure. When someone asks you a question, do not answer instantly every time. Let the question land. Hold eye contact for a beat, then speak. Even 2 seconds feels enormous to an anxious person. Their mind begins generating stories. Did I say something wrong? Is he judging me? Is he thinking carefully? Is he offended? Does he know something I don't? That uncertainty gives your words more gravity before you've even spoken. And then there is pace. Fast speech often signals one of two things: fear of interruption or fear of irrelevance. It communicates that somewhere inside you, you do not fully believe you deserve the floor. So you rush to get your point out before it's taken from you. Slow speech, when controlled, communicates the opposite. It says, I expect to be heard. I am not scrambling. I am not frightened by the room. I can afford rhythm. This does not mean dragging your words like an actor in a parody. It means removing frantic energy. When interrupted, do not compete. This is where most people fail. They speed up, raise their voice, joke, or surrender. Instead, stop. Let the interrupter finish. Look at them. Let the room feel what just happened. Then continue from exactly where you left off, at exactly the same pace, as though your line of thought was never threatened. That behavior does two things at once. It punishes the interruption without visible aggression, and it communicates ownership without begging. You are no longer asking for room. You are operating as if the room was already yours. The third principle: cut your addiction to external validation. This is the deepest chain. If compliments inflate you and criticism destroys you, then your identity is public property. Anyone with a little social skill can steer your mood, your choices, your confidence, and your behavior. That means you are controllable, and controlled people can never be terrifying. The world runs on a validation economy. People hand out praise to buy compliance. They withdraw approval to punish independence. They flatter to lower your guard. They criticize to trigger self-doubt. And most people remain children in this system for life. To become psychologically unshakable, you need internal authorship. If someone praises you, fine. If someone doubts you, fine. Neither one should rewrite your self-concept in real time. This is harder than it sounds, because most people secretly build their entire identity out of reflected responses. They feel real only when mirrored. They feel worthy only when approved. Remove the audience and they collapse. You cannot become formidable while needing applause, so stop explaining yourself to people who did not earn access to your internal world. If someone says you are arrogant, you do not need to launch into a character defense. If someone says you are cold, you do not need to provide context. If someone misreads you, let them carry that version until reality corrects them. The minute you rush to repair every perception, you reveal dependency. Sometimes the strongest response is a calm, uninterested okay, not as a performance, as a declaration that their label has no jurisdiction over your identity. Bullies and narcissists hate this, because their whole strategy depends on reaction. They throw hooks and wait for your nervous system to bite. If you don't bite, their power evaporates. They are left shadowboxing in public. The fourth principle: train the body to stop confessing weakness. Your body is talking, even when you are silent. And for many people, It is confessing constantly. Shoulders rounded, chin tucked, hands fidgeting, feet turned inward, eyes darting, breathing shallow, shrinking in seats, moving as though you are apologizing for occupying physical space. That is not random posture. That is social autobiography. It tells the room you expect pressure. It tells the room you expect correction. It tells the room you are trying to remain non-threatening. Apex presence begins in the body, not collapsed onto one hip, like you are half leaving your own life. Let your chest be open, not exaggerated, just unhidden. Keep your neck long. Reduce unnecessary movement. Stillness is status. Chaotic movement communicates internal instability. Controlled movement communicates choice. Then there are the eyes. Prey animals scan, predators focus. Most people look around a room like they are searching for either danger or rescue. Their eyes bounce. Their gaze flits away the moment contact is made. They are asking the environment how to behave. You need the opposite. Look deliberately. Let your gaze arrive fully. Do not snap your eyes away the instant someone meets them. Hold for one beat longer than feels natural. Then move on without apology. Not as a challenge, as an absence of fear. When walking, pick a path and keep it. Stop doing that little social dance where you surrender your line before anyone asked. Of course there are moments for courtesy, but many people overcorrect into self-erasure. They yield by default. They move around the world like guests in every space. Stop that. Move like your destination matters. A person with clear vector changes other people's behavior. Those without vector tend to move around him. The fifth principle: withdraw unnecessary access. You are too available. That sounds harmless. It isn't. Availability without discernment destroys value. When you answer instantly, agree instantly, show up instantly, reveal instantly, and remain accessible to everyone all the time, people stop treating your attention like something that costs, and what costs nothing gets handled carelessly. Scarcity creates weight. Machiavelli understood distance. A ruler must be visible enough to shape the narrative, but not so accessible that familiarity strips him of mystique. Familiarity does not automatically create connection. Often it creates informality, and informality often turns into subtle contempt. So begin practicing selective absence. Do not respond instantly to everything. Do not attend every invitation. Do not stay until the social energy is completely drained. Do not reveal every plan while it is still forming. Do not dump your fears into the hands of strangers and call it authenticity. Leave while people still want more. End the conversation before you become common. Leave the event before you are exhausted. Close the loop while there is still tension in the line. This creates curiosity. Where is he going? What is he doing? Why doesn't he linger? Why doesn't he need this room as much as everyone else seems to? Mystery is not created by saying strange things. It is created by refusing to overexpose yourself. And learn this lesson carefully. The person most willing to walk away usually controls the frame. If you are terrified to lose the girl controls the interaction. If you are terrified to lose the job, the employer controls the interaction. If you are terrified to lose the friend group, the group controls the interaction. Non-neediness is leverage. The sixth principle: build competence until your confidence has evidence. This is where many people get lost in theater. They hear about eye contact, silence, posture, mystery, and scarcity, and they start mimicking surface cues. But without substance underneath, the entire thing becomes unstable. Silence without competence is awkward. Slow speech without competence is just delayed confusion. Restraint without competence can feel like emptiness. Real confidence comes from evidence. Not positive thinking, not self-talk, not pretending. Evidence. You kept promises to yourself. You solved difficult problems. You built skill. You endured discomfort. You made yourself useful. You became dangerous in a domain. Machiavelli did not advise rulers to merely look commanding. He advised them to understand warfare, terrain, history, strategy, human nature. Because image without capability invites collapse. Your nervous system knows whether you are bluffing. You can try to act powerful all day, but if your mind knows you are undisciplined, incompetent, soft, or untested, it will sabotage the act from the inside. Doubt will leak through your face and voice because on some level you know it is costume. So become excellent at something real, something measurable, something other people cannot casually replicate. Maybe it is your work, maybe it is your fitness, maybe it is your analytical ability, maybe it is your calm under pressure, maybe it is your capacity to make decisions when everyone else freezes. Competence creates emotional stability because you trust your own hands. The surgeon is not calm because he repeats affirmations. He is calm because he has seen blood before. He has trained. He has done the work. His nervous system has proof. That is what you need. Become the person who is useful in chaos. When everyone else panics, you assess. When others react, you decide. When others ramble, you identify the actual problem. That kind of person does not need to advertise confidence. The room gives it to him. The seventh and final principle. Accept being misunderstood. This is the last chain. Most people remain weak because they are terrified of the villain label. They want to set boundaries, but they don't want anyone to call them selfish. They want to prioritize their goals, but they don't want anyone to think they changed. They want to say no, but they do not want to look rude. So they keep abandoning themselves in order to preserve a flattering image in other people's stories. That is cowardice in polite clothing. If you live correctly, somebody will call you selfish. If you become disciplined, somebody will call you obsessed. If you become selective, somebody will call you cold. If you become successful, somebody will call you arrogant. Let them. You cannot become sovereign while needing universal innocence. Machiavelli understood necessity. Sometimes preserving your position requires actions the crowd will not applaud. That does not mean cruelty. It means maturity. It means understanding that every boundary disappoints someone who benefited from your lack of one. So when someone reacts badly to your self-respect, do not panic. Let the label fall. Can you do this for me? No. That's selfish. You can see it that way. Done. No courtroom, no closing statement, no performance of moral purity. You do not need to win every witness. You need to stop betraying yourself to keep bad actors comfortable. This is what changes when the servant dies. You stop bargaining with everyone around you. You stop offering soft explanations in exchange for acceptance. You stop treating access to you as a public utility. You stop editing yourself into harmlessness. And yes, people will respond differently. Some will say you changed. Good. Some will say you're harder to read. Good. Some will say you feel distant. Good. Distance is not always a flaw. Sometimes distance is the shape respect takes before trust is earned. So how do you begin tomorrow? Not with a speech, not with a grand reinvention, not with performative intensity. Begin with geometry. Walk slower, speak later, answer shorter, smile less automatically, hold eye contact a moment longer, stop filling silence, leave earlier, say no once without explaining, fix your posture, do one difficult thing you've been postponing. That is enough to begin changing the pattern, and your old self will resist. The part of you that survives by pleasing will panic. It will whisper that people are uncomfortable. It will beg you to fix the vibe, smooth the edge, reassure the room, become easy again. Let it panic. That panic is withdrawal. It is the servant realizing he is losing control of the throne. Over time, the atmosphere around you changes. People stop assuming you are available on demand. They stop speaking over you so casually. They stop reading you as furniture. The joking contempt fades. The cheap familiarity fades. The social testing becomes more cautious. What replaces it is not always warmth. Sometimes it is tension. Sometimes it is distance. Sometimes it is curiosity. Sometimes it is that subtle stillness people adopt around someone they cannot easily place. That is fine. You are not here to be easily placed. You are here to stop being moved by every hand that touches the board. Confidence is not a mood. It is not a quote. It is not a hype state. It is containment. It is proof. It is boundaries. It is non-neediness. It is calm under observation. It is the refusal to kneel emotionally in every room you enter. Become that, and you stop looking for permission. And once a person no longer needs permission, people feel it. That is what unsettles them. Not aggression, not theatrics, sovereignty. That is the thing most people have never built. And when they meet someone who has, they call it intimidating because they have no better word for it.